film fan, so I just finished watching Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and I'm not going to say for the 1,000th time this time, just because I didn't really watch these later movies on repeat all the time, because I was a little bit older then, and I wasn't just, stuck at home watching movies in bad weather or whatever. If you haven't seen any of my other reviews, and I highly doubt that by now, for this particular franchise, I am a huge Harry Potter fan, like Hagrid is just chilling on my wall back there, so this film has 77% on the Rotten Tomatoes meter, and I think it deserved a slight higher than that. Like, lower would have been kind of like, no, it deserves better, but too high would have been like, that's a bit much. So I think 77 is a kind of nice middle even ground between those two. So, without the guidance and protection of their professors, Harry, Ron, and Hermione began a mission to destroy the Horcruxes, the source of Voldemort's immortality. Though they must rely on one another much more heavily than ever, dark forces threaten to tear them apart. Voldemort's Death Eaters have seized control of the Ministry and Hogwarts, and they are searching for Harry and his friends, and they begin to prepare for the ultimate showdown. This film is a great, continuation off of the previous film where we saw, Dumbledore's death, and I think that was a great opening, a great lead up to all the things that were going to be happening in this particular film. So during this film's time in the box office, it made a decent $294 million during its time in the box office. It was released on November 19th of 2010, and I think that is an absolutely astonishing number, especially for the time that it spent in the box office. Now, of course, we're later on, it's 2022 now. This film is actually 12 years old, so I think it's going to be, it's probably made a lot more than that. So far, it is directed by David Yates, and he's done a bunch of the previous films as well, and quite a few of the Fantastic Beasts movies so far, which will be leading up to this series. These are the absolute darkest movies of the franchise. Between the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, these are the darkest films in the franchise, and you can see that right from the get-go when the Warner Brothers logo shows up. It opens up and it's super dark, it's rusty, it's preparing you like, hey, this film is going to be hard, it's going to be dark, it's going to have a lot of fairly mature subject matter in it. The CGI in this franchise is absolutely gorgeous. You have the flying bike, you have the broomsticks, you have all the spells, you have just everything going on in this franchise, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous! I loved this particular film, especially the first time I saw it. I'm like, this is really adult. This is where, they have to grow up. They're 17, they're not kids anymore. It looks so good, and it's so well done, and I would have expected nothing less to have for a $250 million production budget. They had, the moon and beyond to work with for this film, and they definitely, fought to achieve their goals. This film is a tearjerker. This film was so hard to watch. It starts with, Hedwig dying, and that was really hard. I'm that person who watches movies and is like, no, don't kill the animal, but that guy's fine. I'm that person. So, watching his only companion, his longest friend, the first gift that Hagrid really got him, killed like that, she deserves so much better than just, you're dead now. And I get that she was protecting him and it was kind of like a story thing, but why did you have to kill her off? In this film we finally learn a little bit about the Dumbledore family, so that was really nice. It was definitely finally time to have that lead up, and you talk about Aberforth and his dad that killed the Muggles and just everything that went on, but there were other reasons behind this, and I'll probably talk about that in the part 2 review, so I don't want to give too much away right now, but there's definitely a lead up to all the things that happened around Dumbledore's family. Evil lockets. Why is the necklace evil? I get that they had to put something on jewelry and just how this worked, and having the evil locket return again in this particular film was something that I never really expected, especially when, clad in her I'm going to just love you to death kitten pink, Umbridge is back, and she's wearing this locket. And I want to choke the life out of this woman. I hate Umbridge, and I think every Harry Potter fan out there will agree, no, we didn't hate Voldemort, we loved him, but Umbridge, she gotta go. Like, she drives me absolutely insane. And the last we see her, she's being dragged away by centaurs, and you're like, oh, you know, she's finished, she's done. No, apparently she's alive, and she's now back again in this film, and you're like, oh, like, I don't want to go through this annoyance again. Like, can somebody finally just get rid of her? Like, I was so angry that she was absolutely back. There are sparks of happiness, of course, in this film. You see Bill and Fleur's wedding, you see, you know, them dancing in the tent, and just trying to continue on with life, even though there's this war going on, there's all these bad things happening. That spark is there, where they're trying to just go about their lives and live their lives, even while all these other dark things are happening. The scenery in this film is absolutely gorgeous. So you see multiple different locations as they're traveling around looking for Horcruxes, and all of them are very individual. There's no copy-paste going on. You know, they're beautifully done. These are, like, pictures photographers would kill to have. Like, they're absolutely stunning. They're absolutely gorgeous. And that's one of the things that really caught my attention about this film, was the fact that it is so well done and so beautifully done. Like, the backgrounds, the characteristics, everything was so well done. The thing that I didn't understand, though, in this particular film is we start learning about wand switching. You can use someone else's wand suddenly. You can do all these other things with a wand, and you're like, but in the first film they said the wand chooses the wizard, and that's the only one that'll work for you. And now we see, like, the total 360 of, this is what's going on, you know, the wands are doing this, the wands are doing that. You can use someone else's wand, you can use this guy's wand, you can use that guy's wand, you can pick this wand up off the street and it'll work for you. Like, its allegiance has changed. And all of that didn't really make any sense to me, and it's a lot of just jumble back and forth, and I get that it was probably leading up to the fact of the Elder Wand, but that was a lot to go from being told, hey, you know, the wand chooses the wizard, to, oh, you can pick any wand up off the street and it works. You know, that was kind of little misleading and stuff. The lake scene. The lake scene in this film killed me. You know, they just escape, you know, they're ready to get going on, like, the rest of their mission, and they've saved, you know, Ollivander and the Goblin, and they've rescued Luna, and then it's like, Dobby dies. This death shouldn't have affected me as much as it did, because I absolutely did not like Dobby's character. He was annoying, he was flighty, he was just super annoying, and it really, really bothered me. Like, he was cute, yes, he was helpful, fine, but then he tries to, you know, kill Harry to get him to leave Hogwarts, and you're like, bro, really? Like, don't be so annoying. Like, I get you're trying to help him, but can you not? And then you go to this death scene, and you're like, oh my god, my heart is breaking, and I cannot stop crying. Like, this scene was so well done. At least he died, you know, happy. He died with friends. It was great. But this scene is probably one of the hardest scenes, other than, you know, Hedwig's death or Dumbledore's death or, you know, Sirius's death way back in the franchise. So that was a really, really hard thing to have to watch. So for all these reasons, I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5 on my Rotten Tomato scale, just because there were things that could have been done better, and things that maybe should have been left out that weren't, and things from the book that should have been in it, but again, weren't. So definite 4 out of 5. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that sub button and, you know, the like button. If you've definitely liked this film, leave a comment down below. I do try to answer everyone. I will get back to you. Until then, film fans, we'll see you all in the next review.